Hey guys, Brandon here with Exotic Cars 19 with another one of these point of view driving videos. I've had a lot of fun making these recently, and well, I got another good one for you guys. As you can suggest from the title, this is going to be a 2014 Aston Martin V8 Vantage convertible or roadster. So yeah, really excited about this. I've ridden it in a few Aston Martins, including a V8 Vantage, but actually have not driven one. This one here is equipped with the 7-speed automated manual. So the non-stick shift, it's their automatic version, but still automated manual. We'll get more on that because that's going to be a big talking point here. But anyway, before we get rolling and start all the fun driving and all that stuff, I just want to run through a couple of specs real quick, get that out of the way. This 2014 Aston Martin V8 Vantage is going to be powered by a 4.7-liter naturally aspirated V8. That's another big talking point, the last of the naturally aspirated for the Vantage series. As we know, it got replaced with the new kind of AMG collaboration with the twin-turboed V8. So we'll talk on that as well, some pro and cons between the old and new Vantage. But anyway, yeah, 4.7-liter naturally aspirated V8. It's good for 420 horsepower and about 450 pound-feet of torque. This car, the way you see it now, weighs just about 3,750 or so, between 3,700 and 3,800 pounds as well. As far as fuel economy, if you care, it is 14 city, 21 highway around average. So yeah, as far as performance, 0 to 60, about 4.7 seconds. But I don't think you're getting an Aston Martin for fuel economy or necessarily for 0 to 60s and outright specs and all that good stuff. You're probably getting it more for theater, as British cars usually are good at evoking that kind of emotion. And then I guess the last numbers I'll run by you guys is that this car is actually for sale right now. Market on them is pretty darn fair at the moment. I guess we'll talk about that throughout the video as well as we get rolling, but asking price on this guy right here is just under $75,000. Original MSRP was significantly above that, and it has less than 8,000 miles as well. So yeah, currently for sale. Contact my friend Aaron if you guys want this car. I'll leave his email in the description and comment section. So that's all the quick specs out of the way. I think from then on we'll just kind of get on driving. So the way you start it, foot on the brake, and you have to make this all in one motion. Go ahead and put it here, insert it, and keep it down until it starts up. And now you can release it. Let's go ahead and drop the roof here. All right, beeps at me letting me know it's all done. And in fact, I'm gonna go ahead and roll the windows down as well. All right, so I got the parking brake engaged. So the way you, even though it's like moving like this, it is locked right here. So you just kind of pull up with the button and then drop it. And then the parking brake light goes away. Put it in drive here. It's already in sport mode, so we are good to go. So this is in the automatic mode. In fact, that is the only mundane thing I will do. I'll go ahead and start in automatic, and then pretty darn soon flip it to paddle shift. It's always funny making these videos and people see a GoPro on your head, especially in your if you're in an eye-catching car such as this V8 Vantage. So just kind of moving around in slow speeds like this, it's actually not too bad. People have complained, made worse complaints than I think it deserves. Yeah, it is an automated manual, not so much an automatic as the new ones are. They are a true dual clutch automatic, dual clutch, not dual, whatever I said. But yeah, they're a true dual clutch automatic, so it makes it just a lot cleaner. Versus this, I guess I would put it in a way that, I mean, as you can see, it even rolls back, even though I'm in drive in automatic mode. The way I would put this transmission is it kind of feels like you are riding passenger with someone else shifting a manual car. So anyway, we'll go ahead and get on it a little bit here. And it, go ahead and roll the windows up just briefly so you guys can hear me a little bit better. It's got some lurch to it. That's the only reason I like to keep it in manual shift. It's got a little bit of lurch to it. If you drive it enough, you just get used to it. You know how to, I don't know, expect for it. But it feels like you're driving a manual car, except without doing the shifting. So it really is an automated manual. That's a big complaint to some people. How do you get around that? I will leave it in sport. The shifts are a little bit quicker. It doesn't, like, I don't know, use more of the clutch. And then the way you go into paddle shifter, you just literally click a paddle. The little red light by the D for drive goes away. And if you want to put it back in automatic, just hit that. But right now it is in manual, and the transmission gets significantly better. Downshifts are super clean. Upshifts still have a little bit of that lurch, but you know to expect it because you're the one telling it when to shift. That's why if I had one of these, I would always keep it in that mode. Sport, manual shifting, and just enjoy the drive and know to expect the lurch. We're in 6th gear here, and the ride is just super comparable. It is not bad at all. It is connected and stiff enough, but without being like overbearing or anything by those means. Steering is nice and heavy, not too heavy, but I don't know, just a lot of feedback with it. Overall, just a really nice setup. I really like the V8 Vantages, just as an enthusiast standpoint, but this being the first time I drive one, I really do like the way it's set up. In fact, the V8 Vantage and the V12 Vantage were among some of my favorite cars, and still kind of are in a way, especially favorite British cars, for the looks, the sound, and all of that. But I've always said if I were to own one, I would get a manual transmission, and that way it bypasses any complaint that this car has had, which has really always been regarding the automated manual. Go ahead and drop the windows here. Just going through the gears a bit, trying to get a feel for it. Quick update on the transmission. It is quite a bit of movement. I don't think it's anything like worth putting off. The downshifts are actually pretty darn seamless. It does not lurch or anything like that and bob your head as bad as I thought it would. In fact, it hardly does it at all on the downshifts. The upshifts, sure, there's a little bit of delay. It shifts faster than most people would in a manual anyway. But I don't know, it lurches as if it was a manual. So once you get past that, it's a fine transmission. You just have to use the pedals yourself, and it seriously gets rid of like the biggest complaint people have, which is just the unexpected lurches. So just use your own paddles, and I think you'd be pretty happy. One thing I'll do is go ahead and roll the windows up to get some better audio and just talk to you guys a little bit about the market on these things and kind of my expectations and all that kind of stuff. Like I said, I really do care about these cars a lot. I love the Vantage of this generation. As we know, the new Vantage is out, the twin turbocharged one, complete redesign. It's inside and out, it's just a whole different car. And I'll be honest, I do not dislike the new car whatsoever, but I do not like it on the level I like this car. Although there are a couple of things on this car, if I'm honest, that are a little bit archaic, this transmission being one. Fix for that, get the manual. Other than that, yeah, there's a little thing. This car's been out for so long, and I kind of respect that about it, that the looks are so nice. One moment. As I was saying, it's a somewhat, or not somewhat, it's a pretty old car, way over a decade old, but it still looks as gorgeous as it does, and I think that's pretty respectable about it, and that's why I'm still kind of, my heart's still with this generation as far as the looks go, but I can respect the drivability of the new one. So what do I mean by all this? So the reason I mention all of that is because, I don't know, I guess like I was going to say, kind of my predictions with the future of these. These being the last naturally aspirated Aston Martin V8 Vantages, or V12s as well, just as far as the Vantage in general, I think we'll be looking back 10, 20 years down the line, and I think people are going to appreciate these cars quite a bit. Does that mean the price will follow? Well, I think eventually, sure. Will we be seeing these things roll in the Mecum and Barrett-Jackson blocks going for millions of dollars soon? Probably not. As British cars do, they usually dip in value quite hard, and I think these have already taken quite a beating, and I don't know. If you look at certain kind of Ferraris or whatever else, or Porsches, the last of the generations that are naturally aspirated while they've been replaced with twin turbos seem to do well. That's not the case here because of a couple reasons. Maybe because the new ones are still really good for being twin turboed. Not that that's a handicap, they're just really good, period. All I'm saying is I think people will appreciate these, looking back to a point to where these things will stop depreciating sooner than later, and I think that people will start to appreciate them, and the price will follow suit. If I had chased my own tail there a couple times, I apologize, but long story short, if I were in the market for one of these, and I would be if I had the means to, I would go and chase a manual transmission version, whether it's a V8 or V12. The 7-speed V12 Vantage is a gorgeous car, one that is going down in value. Even though there's so small amounts of them in the United States, they are still going down in value. So that's one that's kind of interesting to look at, especially now that the new one's coming out, and it's really good, but it is a little neutered in a way because of the twin turbos. I'm not against twin turbos, but when I could go naturally aspirated, you know I will. So that's why this engine sound and all these things, I think will be looked back at soon enough and be sought after. Once you're at speed, both the up and downshifts are actually much smoother, especially the downshifts. The downshifts I'm actually really pleased with. The rev matches, they're really nice. They don't feel a single clutch at all. It's the upshifts that have a little bit of that lurch, that's all. But I think it will just take a couple of spirited drives and you will just get used to it, and that will become your norm. And well, there it is. I'll go ahead and flip the camera around. So yeah, pretty nice car. That was my first time driving one, so that was a genuine first reaction to this, especially driving in a spirited manner. And it is what I expected it to be, and I didn't expect it to be garbage by any means at all. People have made it out to be a certain thing with this transmission. I think just get around the lurching, get used to that's going to be a little bit more visceral. It's not going to be as pretty as a PDK or anything like that. Once you get used to that, it's actually a car that you could most certainly enjoy. And if you're already considering just getting a manual transmission, if that's the one that you got your eye set on, I think you're going to have yourself a very enjoyable car. And if you have this generation of the Vantage in a manual transmission, I think you have something worth hanging on to. Not saying they're going to be worth a heck of a whole lot of money anytime soon, but I'll just leave it at that. I think they're just worth holding on to for now, while everything else is going small displacement into twin turbocharging and losing that decibel readout as these generations have. But they certainly look good, they sound good, and they don't drive too bad at all. So, like I said, if you guys are interested in this car in particular, less than 8,000 miles, less than $75,000, email Aaron, let him know that you're interested, and he will get you all squared away. But anyway, that'll do it for this video. Thank you guys so much for watching. Have a great day.